Nearly half of Arab countries are also African. As mostly underdeveloped or developing nations, the two regions face similar challenges.
There are a number of challenges as African governments we are facing, which we, as the members of parliament, we really need to discuss and come up with a common stand on how best we can iron those challenges. And I think the sharing of views will help to come up with a common stand that Africa as a continent should work together. There should be unity. There should be cooperation. There should be a lot of issues how we can solve our economic challenges. So it is really very important that today we can meet and discuss.
Egypt and our African countries, especially Cameroon also, we are facing this terrorism phenomenon, you know, the Boko Haram phenomenon. And of course, our legislatures should devise laws that permit to governments to really efficiently fight against this terrorism phenomenon. And I know that here in Egypt, legislation has been taken, in Cameroon also. So it's for us an opportunity to come and exchange, you know, our information experiences.
In this spirit of cooperation, African and Arab nations have made history, and they're launching the initiative in the country that houses their oldest parliament, Egypt.
This is the first time that two continental parliaments are coming together in joint session. We do have 150 years of experience to learn from by meeting here. Egypt happens to be at a juncture between Africa and the Arab world. And so we have an opportunity here to have a mingling of the Arab and African cultures.
We must find solutions to our global challenges, whether it's climate change or terrorism. Africa must form common legislation to address these issues. Africa is at a crossroad. It must stay united. Africa must speak as one.
Here in Egypt, it's hoped that MPs would agree to reject foreign interventions in African affairs. Anti-terrorism efforts, development, boosting regional trade and facilitating travel on the continent are also on the agenda. Adel El Mahrouky, CCTV from Sharm El Sheikh, Egypt.
And for more on this, we're joined by CCTV's Adel El Mahrouky, who's standing by in Sharm El Sheikh. So, Adel, this meeting is a big step towards promoting relations between Africa and the Arab world. What are the main issues prevalent across these two regions?
Well, as you've heard in the report, there are a number of issues, and just if we mention terrorism or trade in the country or facilitating travel, these are just a couple among a very huge bucket that the entire region face. They're both underdeveloped and developing countries, and therefore they are facing a lot of challenges, particularly monopoly from world economic powers over what they can produce or not. And in this sense, there is a feeling here in Sharm El Sheikh that Africans should start taking serious steps into having serious independence, and by doing or by reaching this, the Egyptian Speaker of the Parliament says that the only way to reach this is only for African and Arab countries is to support each other first. And then with that, the greater picture of African or Arab independence could be achieved. So there are numerous issues on the table to be discussed, and today is just the first where everyone is just brainstorming and coming up with ideas of what can be the details of the coming sessions.
And Adel, are we likely to see a move towards seeking homegrown solutions to resolve any pressing issues on the continent and in the Arab world?
Well, it seems, first of all, just after the opening session, it was evident that there is a strong sense of spirit among all MPs here. We're talking about 1,200 MPs from across the continent and the region. So the general sense is to produce something. They know that they're creating something that has not been done before. They understand that there are a lot of minor details that must be discussed. So after the opening session today, they spent the rest of the day dividing themselves into committees, announcing vacancies in subcommittees that will be responsible to take detailed discussion and the topics that will be set in the coming days. Also opening the floor to know exactly what the MPs have in mind and what recommendations they have, what topics they would suggest beyond what's on the agenda and what has been distributed to them through the organization of both the Arab Parliament and the Pan-African Parliament. So the rest of the day was more or less maybe not very exciting discussions, but they're very important to create a foundation through which the entire 1,200 MPs could communicate very well and then reach common grounds later on.
All right, Adel Mahrouky, live for us there from Sharm EL Sheikh. Many thanks, Adel.